Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Hashtag Gaming Arena. Today we're going to be looking at Gabumon Leomon versus Blue Hybrid Leomon. Now, these two decks made it to our grand finals of our most recent Sunday store locals. And so, what's really interesting is that both these decks went 3-0. They both dominated the decks they went up against. I was playing D-Brigade and I got destroyed by Blue Hybrid Leomon. And oh, sorry, I was playing D-Reaper. And so, seeing these two players, especially with these two decks, is really, really cool. On the left side, we have Reamer. Reamer's going to be playing Gabumon Leomon. He's going to be using that Gabumon and that Gabumon Bond of Friendship along with the adult Matt Ishida to be able to go into the Gabumon Bond of Friendship, as I just said. He's going to remove 2 of his own security and be able to go for 3 checks with the perfect combo and bottom deck 3 Digimon on the opponent's side. And the Blue Hybrid Leomon, over on the right side with Master Blue Blaster, is going to be playing the Kumamon, the Korikakumons, the Tommys, the Sora Joes, to strip as many sources out from underneath the Gabumon as possible. And so what a really interesting interaction here is that Reamer, if he's playing the Leomon X antibody, that relies on having a Leomon in sources. And so you see the Panjimon X antibody, it's a very similar thing. Relies on having that Leomon in sources there. If Master Blue Blaster is able to strip out that Leomon from underneath the sources, he can't actually play it out. And so that's going to neuter a big part of that deck's usage. We see on the right here, Master Blue Blaster is getting a great opening with the Strabimon and the Kumamon being able to go for 2 checks. He plays out the Jerry, gets that Leomon, and now Reamer has a decision to make. Does he raise out the Gabumon? He's going to go ahead and do so. Raising it out means Matt Ishida's effect activates, which lets him gain memory and draw one. And he's going to forget to do it, but he's going to remember in a second. There it is. Yep. So now he has not a bad board state. He can go into Gabumon Bond of Friendship to be able to get some damage in. But is he willing to take that risk? Because he has to lose 2 security to do that. He's going to go ahead and do that. Pay 3 memory and pay 2 security. Tries a Davis and a Matt. How unfortunate. And he's going to be able to go into the Bond of Friendship. Bond of Friendship, remember, bottom decks every single time it attacks. It's able to go for 3 attacks. So it's going to whiteboard using the Jerry to draw a card. And now it's the great alternative for fighting against Leomon, is that you don't want to delete it. You really don't want to delete it because you're going to get punished for it. And being able to swing and bounce it instead is great. He's going to go for the 3rd check now, and he's going to play another Jerry. Jerry, see if he has a Leomon to play. It looks like he might not. Yeah, and so now Reamer is in a pretty decent state, right? His opponent's board is completely empty. He has a Digimon on board. That Digimon's going to disappear at the end of his turn. But he's going to go ahead and play another Gabumon. So he can start, theoretically, if he has another Bond in hand, he can go for a game next turn. Remember, that thing goes for 3 checks if it has the right Gabumon and the Matt Ishida on board. It all just depends on if Master Blue Blaster is going to be able to stun or stop that Leomon from doing its job. He only left him at 1 memory here, which is going to choke him really hard. I don't think he really has that many options. We can see he's taking a bit to think here. He's not really sure what he's going to do. The Jerry's not being able to play out a Leomon is really unfortunate. He's just going to play a Sora Joe, and it looks like he might be in danger if he's able to find the Gabumon. So he's thinking right now, not sure what he's able to do. He's going to go into the Gabumon. There it is. And he's going to trash his own security, but then he's going to be able to go for 3 checks. That's 1. Oh, the Megadeth! The Megadeth returns it to hand, and now Reamer is going to be vulnerable. He doesn't have any security left. It would go on in raising, so he has to find that blocker Leomon and drop it down if he wants to be able to stop his opponent. He drops down the Jerry, that drops down the blocker Leomon. He has a chance here, right? He's given his opponent a lot of memory, especially because Sora Joe is going to punish him hard playing a Digimon. Goemon's going to swing, he's going to block the Leomon, and then there's the hybrid for game. Yeah, so it's really interesting here, the kind of dichotomy between the 2 Leomon players, because they're both trying to be careful not to trigger each other's Leomons. Gabumon certainly has so much more of that early game aggression, right? He's able to go into Bond super early and get damage in, and if he's able to wipe the opponent's board, then it doesn't matter what they have, because they're not going to be able to finish him off. But that provides the Blue Hybrid Leomon, Master Blue Blaster, is right here on the side. Because you're wiping their board and you're not wiping their tamers specifically, he can just hybrid for a game if you reduce yourself to 0 and aren't able to kill him that turn. And so that's what makes the Gabumon kind of slightly weaker in this matchup, I believe. He suffers from having to give up his own security. He suffers from having to be able to give those tamers an opportunity to kill him. So now we're moving on into the second game. It seems like, let's see who's going to go first. Seems like Reamer's going to go first again. He's going to go ahead and drop the Gabumon in the Matashita. It's a great start for him. Once he raises out that Gabumon, he's going to get an extra draw, an extra memory. It sets him up for the next turn if possible, right? Strabimon and the Sworjo is a great response. So now he has an extra draw, and he has that Sworjo. Sworjo is going to threaten any Leomon that appears on board. If it's played out by Jerry, it's going to trigger the Sworjo effect. So now with the Gabumon out, Reamer has to make a choice. He's going to go into the Leomon. That Leomon is the on deletion, gain 2 memory Leomon. He's going to attack security, 5k1 check, checks into the Jerry. See if he has a Leomon here. He's going to drop the Leomon blocker. And so now Reamer's not in a great state. He has given his opponent a way to strip his sources with the Sworjo. And he has a Leomon on board, which is going to... It's good. It's not bad, right? Because if they end up killing the Leomon, he's going to gain 2 memory. But his opponent now has a pretty decent board state with the Leomon blocker. He's thinking about playing the Kenan Davis. He's going to play the Kenan Davis. And the reason why he's playing the Kenan Davis here is when I was playing against Master Poo Blaster, I was wondering, why are you playing that card? There's no reason for you to play it. And then I figured it out. If he swings with Leomon and it survives, he evolves into Leomon X Antibody. Because Leomon X Antibody is blue and green, Davis and Ken is going to let him restand it. And so then he decimated my security just by going for those multiple checks because I was playing D-Reaper. He knows there's no penalty there. Master Poo Blaster is going to evolve into the Leomon X Antibody, and now that Leomon is protected. It's going to swing. If it hits into something too big in security, it's going to be able to bring out the Leomon while activating the on-deletion effects. It's kind of like Armor Purge. It's kind of not. He's going to play the Megadeth to get rid of that Leomon. That Master Poo Blaster has 2 on board, and he's posing a pretty decent threat to Reamer. Reamer has the 2 mats, but he doesn't have a Gabumon and raising to be able to raise out and immediately capitalize on that. His best play right now, I think, is just to try to negate the damage, trying to stay alive until he's able to get that bond out. He has 2 Matashitas together, and those Matashitas are going to gain him a ton of memory, a ton of draws when he raises out. And let's see what he's able to do here. He's going to play out the Jerry. Jerry's going to take him to 0. He's going to play out the Leomon. And now Sworjo, and like we were talking about before, that Sworjo is key to Master Poo Blaster's strategy, because now that he's played out a Leomon using his, now that Reamer's played out a Leomon, Master Poo Blaster is going to be able to gain that extra 2 memory. It's going to set him to 3. He can go for 2 checks here, right? And if he's able to Hammer Spark or something of the sort, or, I forgot, yeah, the Leomon's just going to gain a memory. And now he has 5 memory to work with. That Ice Wall is going to be pretty detrimental, though. It's going to negate that memory gain. He needed 4 memory here to actually go for the kill because he needed 2 hybrids to be able to kill. But he has put Reamer in a pretty detrimental state. Reamer only has 1 security left. It doesn't have too much to do. But Reamer does have that Matashita coming up. He does have that Gabumon coming up. If he's able to get that Leomon to make at least 1 check or cheat out another check, that Gabumon can go for 3 checks, and maybe he might have a hybrid for your game. I actually don't know if he's playing that 1 hybrid or not that most blue decks end up playing. He's going to pass turn with the Davis just to get more search in. And he's going to pass turn to Reamer. Reamer only has 1 memory here, but again, the Matashita is going to gain him that memory. He's going to draw 2 cards, and he should gain memory off the Davis and Ken. I don't know if he's forgotten. But now he has 2 bodies on board. His priority is to get rid of... There we go, he remembers. His priority is to get rid of all the Digimon on the opponent's side, build a blocker, and then try to use Gabumon to maybe go for a game if possible. That Leomon dies, giving him much more memory to work with. That's actually great for him. He's able to get through these 3 security, which he will be able to because he goes into Bond of Friendship, trashes his own security. He's going to try to swing for 3. That's going to bottom deck the Leomon X Antibody. Then that whole stack's going to go to trash. Tap Jerry to draw 1. Hits into a Gomamon, swing again. Hits into a Leomon X, swing again. And if he has that hybrid for Gamer, he's going to be able to close out, and there's a Lobomon. And so that's 1-1. Gabumon Leomon has 1 on his belt, and Blue Hybrid Leomon has another on his belt. And see, there's a classic difference between it, right? We're seeing the blue hybrid, not even classic, this matchup's weird. We're seeing the Blue Hybrid Leomon has the ways to slow down and punish Reamer for playing out Leomons, but Reamer has that aggression that's coming from the Gabumon. He has that ability to shut down shut down a bad board state quickly by just simply going into Bond of Friendship. And so as we're seeing these players get ready for game 3, I think it's really important to think about how these two decks don't really have too much of a hold on the format right now. You know, there's not much that they're doing that's really kind of that that's really shocking against these really high tier meta decks. These decks might not perform great, but now that we're seeing them play against each other, we're able to see the possibility of what they can do when they're playing a deck of their own level. So we're getting started again. It seems like Master Poo Blaster is going first. He's going to play out the Bukamon, go into Vmon. Those two cards, or Vmon is going to be able to get him draws, and he wants to use that Bukamon to gain memory when he plays out a Leomon using Pangemon effect, Pangemon and Leomon X Antibody effect. Drops the Madoki Betamon. That card is going to be huge for the matchup, as again it's going to punish Reamer for 1, going for that blue memory boost. It's also going to make sure that Leomon isn't able to gain memory as long as that Madoki Betamon is going to be on his side. Master Blue Blaster's control variant of this Leomon is really holding Reamer down. We're gonna have to see if Reamer's able to get rid of this Madoki Betamon in any way. He's going to choose to put the Gabumon back in any order. And so now that he's played that blue memory boost, he doesn't seem to have a rookie. That blue memory boost isn't going to be able to be used to gain extra memory on his next turn because that Madoki Beta is going to evolve into the Strabimon. Oh, so he is playing the Strabimon. That is strange, given that I haven't seen that many hybrids come out from Reamer. Super Blaster is going to raise out the Vmon. It's going to go straight into the Leomon. Now he doesn't have a bad board state. He's going to go ahead and choose to swing with the Leomon. That's going to hit a Davis. That's going to be huge for Reamer. Reamer's going to be able to get some search out. And he's going to have a memory setter for the next turn. Because Leomon X Antibody is green, he's able to grab both cards. And that's big. That's big. Now he has the Leomons to work with. That Madoki Betamon is still going to be a chokehold on him, however. Because he can't gain memory, he evolves into the Leomon X Antibody, he swings. Now that new Leomon that comes out isn't really a threat. It isn't really... the main thing of Leomon is that if you end up killing it, then you lose memory. Your opponent gains more advantage. But with that Madoki Betamon, it erases the entire deck right now, right? He's going to swing with the Leomon X Antibody. He'll end up surviving. That's completely fine for him. Doesn't get to play out the other Leomon. That's fine. He still has that Davis. He still has his opportunities to be able to go for more attacks here. But that Sora-Jo is really looming over the horizon. If Master Poo Blaster is able to attack, use the Sora-Jo to strip off 2 sources, then Leomon X Antibody is going to be only with its Leomon. He's able to somehow strip source with, let's say, a Kumamon or a Howling Memory Boost. That poor Leomon X Antibody is not going to have anything to play out. And so board states are pretty neutral right now, you know. Reamer at 4 security, Master Poo Blaster also at 4. We'll have to see what the players do next. Seems like Reamer is trying to come to a decision here. He's going to use the Aqua Viper for 3, and that's going to return a level 4 from his hand to return 2 level 4 or lowers. That's going to be a near perfect board wipe. He's going to get rid of that Madoki. That's huge, huge, huge advantage for him. And now he's able to go back to 3 with a blue memory boost. Let's see what he's able to do with all this memory he's gained now. Seems like he's just going to drop a Matt Ishida, maybe? He moved there. Oh, Davis and Ken. There we go. And so with both board states at neutral, I would argue that Reamer actually has a better chance here, as now he has the memory setter. He has the dual tamer on board. So he's able to start setting up for his next turn with Master Poo Blaster's Jerry into a Leomon. Now Master Poo Blaster is again going to get 2 more bodies on board. He's trying to overwhelm Reamer with how many bodies he's able to spit out off of Jerry, off of Leomon X Antibody. But Reamer's putting up a pretty decent defense. It doesn't seem like Reamer has any rookies to evolve into. And again, like we were talking about with that Sora-Jo, if he hard drops a level 4, he's going to get punished for it. So he's really taking the time to think about what he should do right now. He's going to go ahead and hard drop the level 4, and then Sora-Jo is going to set Master Poo Blaster to 4 memory. Now Master Poo Blaster has a pretty decent amount of memory to work with. He has that Sword Joe, he has that Jerry. It's kind of been a stalemate right now. None of the players are going to get much done. The Leomon's going to attack into security, hit the Bond of Friendship. That's going to gain him 2 memory and get an extra draw. Hopefully setting him to 6 memory is going to be able to help him get something done, but sadly, it seems like both players are kind of stuck right now. Doesn't really seem like they have that many options in their hands. He's going to drop another Davis just to search for more. He's going to check top 3. He's going to choose to take the Kumamon. Great choice there. He has 2 memory. He can go for a hybrid and go for that cheesy extra draw, but it depends on whether or not he wants to give up one of his tamers right now. He's going to Evo into the Leomon for 2. It's going to set him to 0, and now he's going to swing with this one too. Hopefully, if that Leomon dies, he gains 3 memory, which it doesn't, sadly. And so now he's kind of giving up the blocker, right? He knows that Reamer's not going to swing up into it. He's not going to be able to use its on deletions to exploit Reamer's memory gains, to be able to make it so that Reamer is able to gain memory. And then he's going to drop a Madoki Betamon. Then again, those Madoki Betamons have been a chokehold this game. Reamer had to waste an Aqua Viper, not even wasted. He had to use an Aqua Viper to get rid of Madokis. And what are the odds he has another in his hand? What are the odds that he's able to get rid of this one now? Without the strength of modern blue, and by that I mean the ability to bounce literally everything, like we see from Metal Garurumon or Blue Hybrid back in EX2, he's going to really struggle to get rid of this Madoki Betamon. Now that Leomon, the benefit that he had from having Leomon swing, which was gaining memory, now that's been completely shut down. So we'll see what Reamer is able to do here. We know he has the Megadeth in hand, right? But that Megadeth is going to be a lot more useful for these larger matchups, right? Is he willing to return the Madoki Betamon to hand? He is at 4 memory here, but everything on Master Poo Blaster's side is going to guarantee that he gets set up to 5. So he's looking for a way to be able to get rid of that Madoki Betamon while also getting the swings in. That's the biggest issue with Blue's bouncing nature, is that if you get rid of a memory chokehold, sorry, I was really confused as to what was happening. If you get rid of that memory chokehold, then they're just going to go ahead and evolve and get it back. He's going to go and swing into the Leomon to kill it. Jerry's going to be tapped. He's going to be able to get a bunch of memory and draw. But now it seems like Reamer is able to go for some offense here. We talked about the Davison Ken evoing into the Leomon X antibody to restand. He's going to go ahead and do that swing. Unfortunately, hits into a Hammer Spark, and now we see Master Poo Blaster has a Madoki Beta in raising and a Madoki Beta on the board. Reamer's going to have a hard time dealing with it. He's debating whether or not to swing with it. Doesn't seem super wise here, given that Reamer doesn't really have that much on him. He doesn't have a mat in play, so he can't go into Gabubon. And Madoki Beta is going to go ahead and swing into security, going to hit into the mat, and there's the mat. That's going to be painful. He's going to strip off the source of the Leomon X antibody. Like we were talking about earlier, the Sword Joe, a key part in making sure that Leomon X antibody isn't able to play out the Leomon. He's going to Evo into Kumamon. That's not going to end up stripping anything, but he's going to Evo on top of the Jerry. Arguably the least valuable tamer there right now. There is an argument to be made that Davis was the better choice there, but you do lose out on that memory setter. If I have 1, 2, or more Davises, or if I have multiple Davises, I feel super comfortable turning one of them to hybrids because they both all do the same job, and having one on board is all you need. He's going to go into the Kori Kakumon off the Kumamon to stun the Leomon X antibody, so that's not going to be able to swing for the next turn. So Master Poo Blaster is in a pretty decent state here, but he needs to be careful of Reamer now. With Reamer guaranteeing he's getting 6 memory on the next turn if that Leomon X antibody stays alive, there is a solid chance he goes for the Gabubon, gets 2 checks in, and then is able to cheese out some sort of memory to get hybrid for game. He's going to swing into the Leomon X antibody, which removes it from play, and then removes the gain from Davis and Ken. He's only going to get the 1 memory from Davis. That's going to set him to 5 memory. He's going to drop another Madoki Betamon. And so now Master Poo Blaster has swarmed the board. Let's see what Reamer can do in reaction. He doesn't have the right Gabumon raising, so he can't go into that Gabu bond, that bond of friendship, to be able to go for those 3 checks. But he's able to get rid of some board board threats with it. The memory is going to be set to 5 off of his 3 tamers, 3 from Davis, 1 from Davis and Ken, and 1 from Matt Ishida. But can he defend himself? Is he able to, maybe he can bond a friendship and then wipe the board and drop a Leomon to block? The issue with that is that we know that Master Poo Blaster is playing a bunch of those hybrids. We know he's going to be able to get at least 1 or 2 extra check-ins. That Sora and Joe and that Davis are also swinging threats, which is something that we all had to worry about in BT7 and hybrid format. Nowadays, we don't see as many hybrid decks running rampant, so you don't see those tamers as bodies that are able to swing anymore. And so Reamer's going to have to make a decision here. What is the best play for him? If he hard drops a Leomon, again, that's going to activate the Sora Joe. Maybe there's a universe where he drops 2 Leomon, but he'd have to gain the memory to be able to trade. Yeah, I don't really see any options here. Unfortunately, that Gabumon, the Drabumon specifically, being in the Raising means he can't even swing over one of the Madokis, because that thing's only that thing is only 1K, and the Xiaomon underneath only gives it +1 if it's a level 4, which is not. So Reamer is kind of stuck in a bind here. It doesn't really seem like he's able to find his out. He's going to go ahead and evolve into the Leomon X Antibody for 2 just to get that extra draw. Let's see what he does. He's going to swing over the Madoki. There is a universe where he evolves into the Panjamon and uses the Ken and Davis to unsuspending swing over the Korikaku, but now he's lost that potential to be able to go into the Gabumon. He's going to go ahead and do that, Evo for 3, and then he's going to swing into the Korikaku to kill it. Yep. Now he has 2 bodies to worry about. If he's able to get rid of that Madoki, maybe there's a chance for Reamer to survive. Again, that is not counting the hybrids, and that's going to be a big issue. Those hybrids are going to prove to be a chokehold. If Master Poo Blaster chooses to not Sora and Joe, all he needs is 2 hybrids to take game, and I mean, not even. If there's a blocker on field, if he's able to get rid of Madoki and drop a blocker on field, he needs 2 hybrids to swing for game, but he's going to be guaranteed 5 memory. He's going to end up choosing to Mega Death the Madoki Betamon, and Master Poo Blaster is going to swing with the Madoki and then hybrid for game, as we said. Unfortunate game for Reamer there. He wasn't able to find any of his Gabumon pieces or anything else that he needed, but is a great 2-1 from Master Poo Blaster. Thank you so much for watching our Digimon videos. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know if there are any other Digimon matchups you want to see, and check us out next time. See ya!